All right, welcome everyone. This is David Morgan of themorganreport.com, again with John Perez. John and I are doing a pretty much, I would say a deep dive, but somewhat of a deep dive on, current events, what's going on in the economy, but specifically John being a precious metals guy, having worked at Monex, been in the mining business, and we won't give his whole background. If you want that, you can go to our first video together. But he's been really looking very carefully at what's really going on in the blockchain crypto space. And before we get started, I just want to set up the framework. Number one, the Morgan Report has been very attuned to what happens with technology change. And primarily what we're talking about is blockchain. And we've been doing the blockchain brief written by David Smith and edited by yours truly for years. We've also put some crypto altcoins and other methodologies to invest in the sector in the Morgan Report as speculation. So I'm not anti-crypto. I'm free market. Whatever you decide is your personal investing choice, so be it. However, we also want to be cognizant of how quickly things can change, especially in a financial system that I have been pounding the table on for years. Fragile it really is. And nothing's broken to the extent that we may be seeing really as we're doing this video. The reason I bring that up is because the 2008 financial crisis, which is even the mainstream press refers to it as a financial crisis, we're now witnessing something that may spill over into all sectors, and where many people believe that they're safe in cryptos, they may not be. John, let's just leave it at that opening. If you want to add to that, and I'm going to come right back with a couple questions for you.
I think you hit the nail on the head.
So, John, let's start there. Let's talk about what you see in the crypto space and the financial sector, how they tie together.
Well, I like you, David. I am free market, open crypto. I started researching Bitcoin in between $25 and $100. Was an early buyer in the Litecoin, but started looking at Litecoin at 65 cents. So I think it's important to know that I am 100% for the blockchain and crypto technology to make money more honest. Now, fast forward to some of the quotes you made about Bitcoin in the future. We're in the future now, and now we're hitting an area of volatility. The whole world is. And now suddenly, who shows up? Gary Gensler, same guy who showed up at silver when we were in the 2011, and we made the $50 move, or the move from $50 silver back down to $10, $11. 10 years later, suddenly Gary's back to put his name on cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. They want to take Tether and they want to make Tether more accountable and making it live up to FDIC standards. Now, that's something to bear in mind right now as Bitcoin hits all-time highs. Now, this is a big, complex web, so I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible with a couple of points here. What we have going across in China is the big Evergrande collapse, and they made their payment today. I believe that silver moved aggressively today because of what's going on at Evergrande. They came in at the last minute, they made their payment. And I'm going to come back full circle to crypto. With Evergrande, there's a lot of work out there, a lot of research that points to the fact that Tether is partially backed by Evergrande paper. To put that in perspective, Evergrande is the largest building company in the world. But Tether has been used to pump up and to promote Bitcoin, also has relationships with other major firms out there that are exchanges. With Gary Gensler coming in to put regulations to Tether stable coins to live up to banking standards, that's going to force a lot of hedge funds to report what their assets are. And a lot of them are just trading using up to 100x leverage of crypto without having to file these reports. What's really important to know here, though, is that Tether, although it's just gone through an investigation, they have not been audited yet. And has a market cap of over $60 billion with no audit, claiming that they're backed by commercial paper. Some of that commercial paper may be part of Evergrande, which is tied to Bitfinex. So this is a big picture. It takes a lot of work to look at this and look at the complexity of relationships. But what's important here is that now we're starting to consider counterparty risk, which is the foundation of why people buy gold and silver physically to hold it, to avoid that type of risk. And Bitcoin is not a currency, although a lot of people believe it is. It's not a currency, and it's going to be labeled a security along with the stable coins.
Let me
Now,
stop you there,
here we
John.
are.
Let me stop you. I hate to interrupt, but that's a point I'm stopping to emphasize two things. One, I'll be very succinct. I had a very long talk with somebody on LinkedIn, I won't name him, that's really high up in the Bitcoin sphere. And he told me with no equivocation whatsoever, he said straight out, it's illegal for U.S. citizens to own Bitcoin. Those are his words, not mine, folks. Why he said that was this: because it is a security, it is not a currency. So that's why I stopped you, John. The second part is this: counterparty risk. That's one thing about honest money. If you're on a true gold coin standard or silver coin standard, there's no way to cheat. You put, unless you've, counterfeit the coin or dishonest weights and measures. But that's part of the thing that very few people get until they get it, meaning that if you have a problem with a counterparty, your bank closes, your ATM stops, the power is off, your dealer is going to take your stock certificate in, it came in registered mail, he signed for it, and now he can't find it. I mean, all these things that deal with counterparty risk are there. But when you hold real money in your hand, you have none. So the last point, and I'd like this to be emphasized by you, is our gray hair in the markets. We know from experience that when let's say, the smart money, I'll just use that label, wants to be on both sides of a trade, pump it all the way up and pump it all the way down, and make money all the way up and make money all the way down. They need some way to facilitate that. And they have it now. And it just began. And that's called the Bitcoin ETF. Elaborate on that, or am I just thinking as a conspiracy theorist here, John?
No, well, let's stay on the Bitcoin conspiracy train, because if we've learned anything about conspiracies, they continue to keep coming true. The Bitcoin ETF, it's not backed by Bitcoin, but it's a wonderful tool for the big hedge funds and for the large funds that are trading in Bitcoin without having to do the risk and buying actual Bitcoin itself. The idea that Bitcoin can be shorted by the big funds has now become a reality. What's going to happen to Bitcoin and stable coins when Tether gets regulated? With all the developments that are coming right now with Evergrande, here are some headlines that are going to have a big effect. I'm not going to get into the details on this. House hearings. PricewaterhouseCoopers, the people who bought Arthur Andersen, who were the accounting company for Enron, signed off on Evergrande's books, which counted, quote, unbuilt and unsold properties as assets. This is about a month ago. This is today. Evergrande chief pledges second Hong Kong luxury house. This is a margin call, and his 2 Gulfstream jets to make their debt payment today. Wall Street Journal, China Evergrande recently sold a G65ER similar to this one, is a Gulfstream, to make their interest payments. I don't know how many jets they have in the parking lot to sell to make these payments, but this is a major margin call, and these guys aren't going to make it. And we can go down the line even farther. There's one more piece of information that all traders should know, anyone that's invested in Bitcoin, and that is this. Hedge funds that are buying and selling crypto are getting 100x leverage. They're leveraged to the hilt. With Gensler coming in with regulation that may put Tether and crypto listed as a security, everyone's going to start reporting. And that's going to put Bitcoin in a very precarious position, with the Bitcoin ETF recently started and Michael Burry looking for a way to short Bitcoin. I'll leave it at that. If you own gold, you don't have that counterparty risk. Now suddenly Bitcoin at 66,900, 68,000 today suddenly looks like silver at $50. And the same players are involved here again but there's a very precarious position here that crypto traders have. And the hodlers, if this gets nailed here, where Evergrande tilts over, then Tether tilts over, and then Tether takes out crypto, it's very likely we're going to see Liz Warren step forward to protect the investors in the crypto space. Anyhow, there's more to that story. I'm not going to get too deep into that. We'll save that for the next one here. But there is definitely something brewing in the Bitcoin conspiracy corner, and it goes from Bitcoin to crypto, from crypto to Tether, from Tether to Evergrande. And that is heating up right now. In fact, it's accelerated. I did not expect it to accelerate this quickly. Today's move in silver, I saw the price silver move up 83 cents. That popped up within an hour after Evergrande was listed as officially declaring bankruptcy by a German paper, which it turned out they made their payment. So here they are getting declared bankrupt in Germany, yet they're making their payment here. Silver making a big move, then pulling back here. I think we're coming close to that position where we may see Bitcoin die and silver fly on the same day. And I think that time is coming soon here. Tether is going to be audited the minute Gensler lists stablecoins as a security, then everything's going to change, and counterparty risk is going to take on a whole new meaning in the precious metals world, as well as I think a lot of precious metals traders that are holding crypto should consider taking profits at these all-time highs and reconsidering their positions in crypto by researching and taking more time to work on the Tether Evergrande Bitcoin connection.
John, excellent. We could go so many places. I'm going to keep doing these as this story unfolds. Next time, I want to get a little bit into the personalities and how this ties to Epstein. And I know that you're chomping at the bit to talk and tell us about that, because there were a couple of ties that I connected two or maybe 3 dots, but I think you've connected like 10 or 12. So we'll come back to that next time. But I want the last question to kind of wrap up. How much do you think that the Bitcoin is going to be deemed a security and not a currency? What do you think? It's a 50-50 chance? What do you think?
I think it's a 100% chance. I mean, look, the fact that it went this far anonymously, I mean, this is so completely out of the ordinary that Bitcoin can operate this long anonymously and not be regulated, nothing. It is just going on and on. It's almost as if the people that are running the system turned a blind eye on Bitcoin on purpose. I don't see why it's been held back. But personally, I believe it's going to be 100%. We're going to see FDIC regulation towards stable coins. And look, history, we know one thing: when you're fighting the Fed or you're fighting the banks usually end up on the winning side. It's going to be interesting to see what happens if suddenly an exchange is given the requirement that, hey, you got to meet up to Basel III standards. What do you have to back up your Tether, your stable coin? You have 30 days. That possibility is there. I mean, you read the details. Gary Gensler is very clear here. They want these guys living up to banking standards to back up their ability to loan out and hold crypto, and especially Bitcoin. And I'll leave it with this. Yet to add to the Bitcoin conspiracy, Epstein's accounts and banks were run by Jamie Dimon, the same guy who owns a very large silver position, which was inherited and received to them through Bear Stearns, where Jeffrey Epstein used to work. So we'll leave it at that for the next video here.
All right, John, I want to publicly thank you for your time and your insights. And if nothing more, you can look at this as just having fun and humor, or you can take it more seriously. Again, I'll reiterate what I said earlier with that long conversation I had with that gentleman on LinkedIn who was emphatic that Bitcoin is a security. It remains to be determined. We are trying to be of maximum help to everybody that's in that space, whether you're invested or not, to think about what we just said and take that into consideration, where you might put a stop, you might cash out some, or whatever. We're not giving financial advice. I'm not a registered investment advisor. However,
Yes.
we have some insights into the markets that you're not going to hear very often. So, John, thanks again. I can hardly wait to get back to you. I know our viewers are going to be pretty pumped up to get the dot connection and all the personalities that are involved with Mr. Epstein and how that plays into the crypto sphere. So thanks again. We'll be back soon.
Okay. All right. Thank you.